Peace, 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 family. What it do? Yeah, it's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY. Back with another one of our already pod. For those that don't know who I am him, the Honorable Jones, not a Bantu or a Jew, but an El Kebulan kidnap that's ready for the get back. And welcome back to the ROD podcast. Hey, I wanted to come on tonight and literally discuss the craziness that's going on the internet right now when it's pertaining to this Epstein files. A lot of things has been released. A lot of you guys is seeing such craziness where it's like, oh my gosh, how can people be this inhumane, etc., 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 etc. The reason why, you know, I wanted to talk about this topic here. For one, the question is, are you guys really shocked and surprised of this information being released to the people? Are you guys really shocked that shit like this really goes on behind the scenes? Like, bro, this is America. Like, bro, America was founded of the blood of other humans, like inhumane behaviors happen here. Christopher Columbus is literally historically documented of doing these behaviors. You know what I'm saying? George Washington, etc. So you being shocked behind this is like, oh, bro, for real. But in all seriousness, you know, the reason why these things are coming out now, as you guys can see, you see the two hip hop juggernauts in these secret meetings. I purposely put this behind me so you guys can understand that it's bigger than what you guys think it is. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than what you guys think it is. These people had it out for us for how long? Jay-Z been a sellout for how long? P. Diddy been a sellout for how long? You think they're gonna allow you to be billionaires or, half a billionaire without you having to be compromised? Without you having to sell out? Without you having to give in to the fugazi? These people, listen, when Jay-Z did what he did to Dash, that was a clear indication for you to know what you're dealing with. When when Sean Combs did what he did to, that was a clear indication of what you're dealing with. You understand? These people was never put in place to uplift the black community. It was all about exploitation, always with the agenda to follow through with this eugenics family. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is on Epstein's Island, guys. This is not, in a hotel. No, this is Epstein's Island. If you see, you see the blue on the rooftops, this is their island. All of them been going there. There's no shocker that Jay-Z is there. There's no shocker that P. Diddy is there. The reason why P. Diddy was made an example of is because P. Diddy thought he was bigger than the people that put him in that position. He thought he could bully his way the way he was allowed to bully the niggers. You see, you can do all your tough guy shit as long as it's focused on the niggas. The minute you take it elsewhere and you try to flex your muscle on those that put you in position to be financially secure for the rest of your life, they will make an example out of you. That's why he only got 4 years, even though his charges and his crime is worthy of doing life in jail. They gave him a slap on the wrist. They said, we're going to give you 4 years to sit down and relax yourself, humble yourself. And when you come out here, you will remember who we are, who you are, and what you're supposed to do. That's why P. Diddy only received 4 years. Okay? The reason why Jay-Z is the head of the NFL The reason why Jay-Z is the head of the NFL, the man that allows to pick who plays at the Super Bowl halftime, the reason why is because Jay-Z has to push the agenda. Okay? You see? He's a part of the organization. He has to push the agenda. The agenda is to do what? The agenda is to have everybody in a state of controversy, pointing fingers, looking left and right, and never look up to those that's really being the puppet masters. Okay? These are the individuals that they place in front of us to chase to be like them. See, when you see the average black man or you see the average black woman, their desire is to be the next Jay-Z, is to be the next P. Diddy. 50 Cent too. Shout out to 50. But we all know what 50 is after. 50 wants to be a part of the club. He wants to be a part of, you know, the yes sir, no sir, we gonna treat you good as long as you push the agenda. You understand? The reason why they don't do too much with 50 Cent, because 50 Cent is a loose cannon. He can't be, he can't be contained. 50 Cent can't be cordial. 50 Cent can't be calm. That's why they're making it so hard for him to be in those positions. They like him. 50's cool. They say, oh man, you cool, man. 50 Cent like, yo, man, look, man, I've been chilling with Eminem. But again, he's a liability. You understand? He's a liability. Jay-Z and P. Diddy, these guys are the yes men. They are the ones that's gonna go and set up the parties and give them everything that they like. Yes, yes. Jay-Z is part of it too, guys. Yeah, you gonna be removed. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? These people know who they going to choose to be amongst their circle. Okay. They would never allow anybody, and I'm telling you guys this from now, anybody that you see on that TV screen is already compromised. Okay. The last individual that stood for anything was America, right? Let's just say the greater good of America. If you want to go based on presidents, the last president that was the greater good of America was John F. Kennedy. And you see what they did to him. That was the last person. The next person that came on the list was Robert Kennedy. The Robert Kennedy Jr. that you guys see right now, he's also compromised. He's not following the ways of Robert Kennedy. He's literally has accepted the you know what, and he's pushing the agenda. So while they're taking so-called 55% of 55 from the children, the ones that they're leaving behind are the ones that's doing the most damage. While they're removing themselves from the WHO, there's a new strain that's coming out that's gonna be doing more damage than good. You understand? You must understand that they must keep everything in a balance to keep everybody confused, distracted, and in a state of, I see he's doing his job. Meanwhile, they're putting bills in place. Meanwhile, they're doing things behind closed doors that's going to affect us. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but in the next 10 years. You see, these people plan for the next 10 years. You guys forgot when Barry Santos got on the podium and told you guys, my biggest concern is a deadly disease of a deadly virus that can go through the airways in the subways of New York and et cetera, et cetera. That was, and then voila, you got hit with, you know what? the shutdown. And then for those that was like, the real reason for the shutdown, it was they was cracking down on all these pedophilia. These are lies. It was never. They would never. Let me tell you this, people. They would never stop doing what you guys are finding out right now. It would never stop. Okay, the people that sit on them high horses, they need that for longevity with the adrenochrome and all of that. They need that. They would never stop. It can't stop. Won't stop. But they bring these two individuals to lure you guys in, you melanated people in, because what do they have to offer you other than the assumptions of them being billionaires? It's an assumption. It's an illusion. These people don't have absolutely access to no type of money. They got access to a black card. You understand? A black card. That black card is the indication that lets every store and this is not, these things are not lies. These as factual as it can be, guys. They give all these elite high so-called celebrities, high intel celebrities, black cards. You see, money, when you have that amount of money, you can't be controlled. You can't remove that and buy things and store it there. You're not allowed to do that. Absolutely not. This is what you guys are not understanding. Everything that's around us is literally given unto us to distract us, to confuse us, to have us in a state of frustration, anger, pointing the fingers at each other, getting mad at each other. Meanwhile, the ones that's sitting where they're sitting is smiling, unleashing new strains, new laws, new regulations that affects who? That only affect you and I. And they got their own black nigger mascots to do it. Yes, all of these people. And the ones that's coming out, Michael Jackson, what's the other guy's name? There was a lot of people, Sam Cooke. It's a lot of people that was trying to tell the masses that they didn't care, that was removed. And every single person you see right now are given those warnings. P. Diddy thought he was bigger than the establishment. They had to give him a reminder. The charges that was on P. Diddy, any one of us caught that, we would have been under the cell. But they gave him a slap on the wrist. And not only did they give him a slap on the wrist, he's being treated real good in the prison system. Just like how Epstein was being treated real good in the prison system. You ain't gonna hear no stories about they did this, they did that. You ever hear listen, to be honest, these niggas is probably not even there. They're probably not even there. I'm just keeping it 100. Absolutely. Michael Jackson was removed because of the information that he had. Because he had the power. You see, Michael Jackson is literally one of the last of the celebrities that had the power, that like he had the people behind him. And that was an issue. That's why they did what they did to him. And that's when they realized, nah, we got to take this nigga out. Because even through all the controversies, the trials and tribulations, the people still stood behind them. The people refused to believe the narrative. Individuals like that can't be controlled. That is how the game is played, guys. Yeah. Jay-Z's part of the Jay-Z. Listen, some of you guys don't understand the reason why Jay-Z broke up Rockefeller. Jay-Z broke up Rockefeller because Jay-Z could not associate himself with the so-called street niggas, the gangsters, the real niggas, because that's what his career was based on. His career was based on I'm a drug dealer, cough up a long where I'm from, Marcy son, ain't nothing nice. He associated himself from there. After he exploited and got what he needed from there, realizing that he couldn't get any more, he then had to take his talents to South Beach. And the only way to take your talent to South Beach, you have to disconnect yourself from those that was comfortable being in the hood. Because when you're in the hood, you gotta follow the hood politics. You see, Dame Dash is a man of integrity. He followed the street morals, the street code. They Jay-Z didn't want to be a part of that. Jay-Z wanted to be a part of these groups. So in order for you to be a part of that, you got to disassociate yourself with that. And this is how they knew that Jay-Z was one of them, was when Jay-Z ratted out the very man that put him on. Yes, Dame Dash is the one that put Jay-Z on. Okay? Dame Dash is the one that put Jay-Z on. Jay-Z did not get on because of he was nice. Jay-Z started off with Jazzo. He was a fast spitting rapper. He was alright. He wasn't great. He was alright. Okay? Till this day, he's alright. He's not great. It's because he's around these people and he has the financial and these people behind him. They can push the narrative and sell it to you like he's great. But he was alright. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So he had to separate himself from these people. You see, even when he was with Beanie Siegel, when he went to the court with Beanie Siegel, and the judge said, "Yo, are you willing to watch over him?" He said, "No." Beanie Siegel said, looked at him like, "Yo, you my man." What you think? What you think? Dame Dash filing for bankruptcy. What you think? The Irv Gotti, the Murder Inc., tax invasion, the Jay Prince, Suge Knight losing Death Row. All of that is because of Jay-Z. Yeah, yeah. He took that position in Def Jam. Who put him in that position? The same people that's over here. That was the test. And when they see how loyal he was, out of nowhere, Jay-Z skyrocketed. He went from there, then he went to having a percentage in the Barclays, and then after that, you see him coming to the Barclays every day, sitting at that one table, bringing Beyonce along, having everybody like, yeah, Jay-Z, he's doing this for the hood. He's the Meanwhile, he's snaking y'all from behind. Pause. He's snaking y'all from behind. Pause. Now here we are in 2026. Look at the positions and the roles that he has. Here's a man from Marcy Projects is now the leading head when it comes to the halftime shows on the Super Bowl. He has that power. You're talking about a bunch of European tycoons giving the keys to Jay-Z. You got to create a major comfortability. You know why? Because he's here. He's going to these establishments. See, they started liking Jay-Z more than they liked Diddy. You see, when Diddy started with Clive Davis and all of that, we all know the story. We all know the story. When he started off with Clive David was like, nah, Sean is a good guy. Let him, yeah, we can do good with him. But as the money came, as the success, after getting Biggie unalive. Yes, this is no longer allegedly. We in the hood. I'm from Brooklyn. We all knew that. We all knew that Biggie wasn't supposed to be there. We all know that. Anybody that's from the streets would tell you, like, yo, Biggie, yo, you got a whole entire coach trying to take your head off. Heck, you doing over there? And some of you guys don't even know one of the last songs. Remember, that was a Biggie release party. So they was playing Biggie's music, his up and coming album. It was like a release party for his album. And one of the songs that was playing was Kiss Your Ass Goodnight. As that, yeah, yeah. So anybody from the hood knew that he wasn't supposed to be there. But shout out to Gene Deal and all the other people that's coming out saying, yeah, man, he was on Biggie's heels. So after Biggie was taken out, and like I said, when they see you willing to do that, they know, yeah, we could allow him to come to the breakfast. But P. Diddy got too big headed. The fame got to his head. He thought he was a boss, man. He thought his power could oversee. He took what's his name? What's the liquor tycoon that did the Ciroc and used his face, his image as the face for Ciroc. I forgot the tycoon off the top of my head. But he wanted to take those people to court. It was like, is this nigga for real? Yeah, let's make an example out of him. That's when the RICO cases came. Then word on the street is he got into a situation with Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine is part of that brotherhood. Don't get it twisted. Jimmy Iovine, yeah. Interscope, he's part of that brotherhood. And P. Diddy got into something and again try to flex his muscles. Like, yo, you know who I am? I'm Diddy. I got the keys to the city. Like, really was getting big headed. So they had to give him some humble pie. Right? But they seen what Jay-Z was about. They said, you know what? We like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is cool. We like Jay-Z. Jay-Z, if you see how Jay-Z and P. Diddy's literally day and night. Diddy is lavish, you know what I'm saying? Outspoken, flamboyant, while Sean is more subtle, calm, quiet, very observant, good listener, remembers, obedient, and will do anything that these people ask him to do. And he has such a calm approach that he will do that shit secretly, silently, right under your nose. But by the time you realize it's already be too late. Like I said, the reason why they're putting it out now, because they already know that nobody ain't gonna do shit. They already know that people is gonna be in disbelief. Now, this is the new trends going on in America. Whenever something real or documentations come out that people don't like, the first thing that they're gonna say is AI, bro. That's not real. That shit AI. Oh, we all know what he did to Pimp C. Pimp C had Beyonce first. His name wasn't Pimp C for no reason. Yeah. Pimp C was to Texas what Jay Prince is to Texas. Pimp C, listen, look, I don't want to get into too much details, right? So when these people did what they did, right, and these establishment caught wind and literally brought the law and took down this entire empire, all these hip hop tycoons just went down in a heartbeat. Murder Inc., Death Row, Rap a Lot. What was the other one? uh, Rockefeller, and I think there was one more. But when these record labels got caught, every record label had to make a sacrifice. Jay Prince had to give up Pimp C. Okay. Murder Inc. had to give up Ashanti. Shanti ran off. She ran off with Nelly. She left New York. She stayed under Nelly. She became Nelly. She became Nelly's bitch. You don't gotta listen to me. If you know people inside the industry, they'll tell you. Okay. Dame Dash sacrifice Aaliyah. Supposedly. I don't know if it was Dame Dash or was it Hype Williams. Or what's the other man's name? They already had it out. They already had it out for Suge Knight because Suge Knight was supposed to sacrifice. Suge Knight was supposed to sacrifice Tupac, but Tupac got away. In fact, I take this on my. I take it to the grave. I remember when this shit happened. Of course, they took it off the air. I remember when this shit happened, a news reporter interviewed a European lady. She was sitting down on the boardwalk on the strip, just in complete shock because, supposed shootings and everything took place. And she said, all I heard was gunfire. And then I seen a helicopter and I seen this black guy. I remember him from television. He got on the helicopter and the helicopter flew away. And Suge Knight came with, yeah, man, I had a bullet in my head. If you ever see the actual videos, you will see that there was absolutely no blood coming from Suge Knight's head. But that's beyond the fact. So they already had it out for Suge Knight. Snoop Dogg is one of them too. You think Snoop Dogg is gonna be sitting with Martha Stewart Martha Stewart? Yeah. And I got the intel on him too. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see something. Let me see something. Let me see something. Give me a second. Let me see something. I'm gonna show you something that's gonna bust your head. I don't know if it's on this phone or I got it in my other phone. Hold on. I'm gonna show you guys something right now. I'm gonna show you something right now. Hold on. Make sure I got it on this phone. Let me see if I got it on this phone, actually. Show you something right now that's gonna bust your heads. Oh, there we go. Who that? Who that? This is not AI. This is the secret. This is the secret cameras that Diddy had all throughout the house. Yeah. And if you think of what I'm saying not to be true, go read the last book by Kim Porter, Why She Was Taken Out. That ain't no Photoshop. Yeah, I wish it was Photoshop. That ain't Photoshop. That ain't Photoshop. Read that book, boy. Listen, that's all I'm gonna tell you is read that book. She even puts it in the end of the book that if anything happened to me, she wrote it down. One of the last things in the last few paragraphs within her book, she said, "Why did you do that to me?" This ain't Photoshop. Again, remember, this is the new. Remember, back in the days, it was when people brought out information, it was conspiracy theory. Now, the new trend now is everything is AI. That's AI. That's AI. Nah, it's not. It's really not. It's really not. And like I said, the reason why I don't be talking about these shits like that is because it's like, bro, we already knew this, right? We already listen. Let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think these guys wear glasses? Why do you think these guys will be in dark places where there's no sun, no nothing, indoors with glasses on? Why? Because let me tell you why. When you look a man in his eyes, pause. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Anybody that's a straight individual, if you was to look inside of a fisherman's eyes, you can literally see the twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. You really can see that. This is facts. This is why they wear glasses. So you don't see the twinkles. You ever notice that the rappers that never made it can stand in front of you with no glasses on? The rappers that never made it can stand in front of you with no glasses on. But the ones that made it, that became successful, is very rare. You can look them in their eyes. Yeah, it's very rare. You can look them in their eyes, right? The eyes is not the path to the soul. Mm-mm. The eyes is the path to see if they sold out, to see if they stand on business. Why you think they got X out of that? Why you think they made DMX do the verses with Snoop Dogg? Why? These are two different sounds, two different individuals from two different regions that make two different types of music. Why would they do a verse with each other? Because this man was the man to give the intake, the intel on what this nigga X was on, what he was doing, etc., etc. One thing about DMX is always gonna keep it 100. And when he was telling this nigga shit, that nigga went back to the you know who's and did the you know what. And then that was the last time we seen X. You guys don't understand what's going on. Yep. We're not even gonna talk. Listen, Prodigy was a big threat. Between me and you, I think Havoc has something to do with it. Between me and you, I think Havoc has something to do with it. I know for a fact Jay-Z has. Listen, they said the nigga choked on an egg, bro. I really want you guys to think about that. I don't know which one is more insulting, saying that he choked on an egg or Jimi Hendrix drowned drinking wine, drown off wine. I really don't know which one is more disrespectful. I don't know. I don't know. Look, 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 listen. Look. Once you participate in the created religions, right? Your soul is captured. I want to break this down to you guys because a lot of you guys don't have the understanding of how shit goes, right? When you when you give yourself up to these Jesuit creative religions, your soul is captured. They take control over your soul and then they give you a spirit. This is why they tell you must be in the spirit. The spirit, the spirit and the soul are two different things. The soul is something that you control. The spirit is something that they put upon you. It's a spell. That's why they call it the God spell that they put over you. That's why they call it religion. Legion, the real legion of doom. This is what they do to you when it is pertaining to this Abrahamic ideology. This is all Jesuit control. This is part of the reasons why they are comfortable in releasing these informations because they know that our soul is captured. They know that we're not going to do nothing. They know that we are under their spell, the God spell. Okay. That's why they tell you have to believe. You only can't listen. That's why they tell you gotta believe, right? That's why they tell you gotta have faith. You only can have faith into something that is fake, right? You don't have faith in your mother. You know your mother's gonna be there. You don't have faith in your brother. You know that's your brother. You know that they're gonna do this. But you can have faith into an illusion. That's Jesuit speaking. That is Jesuit ideology. Jesus was 33. He was 33 years old when he was called master teacher. I tell you this. I tell you guys this all the time. I done showed you the books. I done showed you all the intel that you need to know exactly what the heck is going on. That's just how the game goes, guys. All of this is all of this is Jesuit order. Constantine was a Jesuit. The popes, Jesuit. Rothschilds, the Black Rock, all these niggas are Jesuits. All religion, Jesuit. Jesuits overlook Freemasonry. Jesuits overlook all the religious things you can think of. Everything goes back to three. Is numero uno. Goes back to 33. It all goes back to 33. The 13 bloodline. Look, right now I got 33 right now. It all goes back to their numerals, rituals, whatever. It all goes back to that. The minute you guys start to realize that and you start paying attention and you start connecting the dots, you will realize that you have been manipulated. You will realize that you've been under their control this entire time. Your emotions is not your emotions. It's their emotions that they have displayed on you. They are dictating how you think, what you perceive, what you like, what you don't like. They are doing that. You're not doing this. You're not doing this on your own free will. No, you're not. You think you are. It's an illusion to think that you're free because you're able to get up, hop in your car, drive to work, go to a bar, buy some clothes, buy a house, travel. You think you're free. No. Start working and see how free you are. Go against the establishment and see how free you are. No. All this, oh, Jesus is coming, be prepared. All of that is lies. Jesus came already. From the time they created the story till now is when Jesus arrived. His kingdom is here. What are you talking about? What are you waiting for? You really believe listen, ask yourself this question. The wickedest people on the face of this earth is actually going to give you guys a story that's literally going to be based on Jesus coming to take them down. Make it make sense. Just make it make sense. Please, I beg you, just make it make sense. Make it make sense. These people will never give you anything to set you free. They'll give you anything to sit you still, though. And that's just what religion is. It's a sit still. It's a sit still ideology. It's a mind manipulated ideology. This is how we control the people. We're going to give them our God. Every time you call on their gods, yes, especially melanated people, you calling on their gods. Of course, you're going to be weak. Why you think your community is like that? Why you think your countries is like that? Why? You think your country is like that because Jesus wants the world to be so chaotic and then he's going to appear? No, because your soul has been removed from you. Your soul connects to the solar universe. When you transition, you get put back to the soil. But while you're living, they capture your soul through religion and they tell you that you must live in the spirit. And the people and the persons that you're following is all Jesuit created individual. Jesus was he was one and he had 12 apostles. The Jesus and the 12 apostles is the representation of the 13 bloodlines that runs the entire world. So you're believing a story given unto you by the 13 bloodlines. I mean, listen, I get this understanding because I've been I've been I've been in this. How long has I been? Damn, I've been doing this for a minute. Yo, bro, I've been literally here since what 2006, maybe 2004. I've been like, you're young, you ask questions, you looking around, you're watching how society is making the transition. You're like, hold on, shit is not adding up. And then you get a point in your life where you seek more, right? When I went to college and I had my professor, Professor Rosado, I will never forget his name. This man was just so knowledgeable. I'm like, yo, bro, how do you know all of this? And you know what he said? He said, you got to read. He said, reading is fundamental. The one thing that they told you is boring is the most powerfulest thing to do, which is reading, which is going to the library. That guess what's next on the agenda? The agenda is to remove the libraries. Watch, one day you're gonna see, one day, I promise you, one day you guys are gonna wake up and you're going to see a lot of libraries shut down. You're going to see a lot of libraries shut down. They're going to say that the state can't fund these libraries. It's not making no money. Children, people are not in there. A lot of people is, doing chat GPT. A lot of people is doing online. Once it gets there, remember, all those books is going to be gone. And those books that you need to establish yourself and you try to get it online will go for the thousands. Remember, I told you guys this. Let me show you. Let me show you guys. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can show you guys. Oh, I can't. I was gonna show you guys my bookshelf. Like, better start stacking on books. My whiz would be like, yo, another book? You're not even reading all of them. I was like, it's not about reading them. It's about having them. Yes. All the books before the 50s, there's a lot of books, bro. It's not about reading them. It's about having them. Because those books, listen, the book of Eli is probably the most important movie any one of you guys can watch. The Book of Eli is probably one of the realest movies you guys can watch. You see how the entire town went berserk. Like niggas lost their lives, legs, got affected, diseases, all for one book. See, they're telling you is the Bible. That's where they want you. They want you to always put trust into their Jesuit creation. But that's not what I want you to understand. He was like, yo, man. He's like, yo, we got all these books, but the Bible, oh, I can control the entire. He was telling you what that book do. It's all about control. Has nothing to do with liberation. Has nothing to do with gaining back or being redeemed or redemption. All of that is lies. You will never. No second coming. No Jesus Christ. No Allah. No Boo. All of that is all lies. This is how you control humanity by the millions. You got to give them a belief system. If I give you a belief system and I force this belief down your throat, pause, you're really not going to trust and be concerned about anything. A lot of people aren't concerned about the Epstein's files. A lot of people don't care about what's going on. Why? Because they faith and trust is in an ideology, even though they can't prove it, but they've been so bamboozled in believing that they're going to stick to that. Yeah. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Paul. Paul, listen, if you found if you're not subscribed to the channel, bro, subscribe, bro. Like I said, we looking for like-minded people that's like, yo, bro, look what I found. Look what I uncovered. You bring it to me. You want me to talk about it. You want me to look into it. You want my input. I'm all for that, bro. I have never turned down wisdom and knowledge from anybody. Listen, I'm the type of person that would sit down with a homeless person for 3 hours, letting him talk to me, telling me X, Y, Z, up and down. You'll be very shocked to find out the knowledge and information that these people have and pertain through life journeys, experience, etc. See, I don't go based on what these people got. I don't go based on what these people achieve in life. I go based on what you survive. Like, damn, bro, you out here in these streets and you still alive, you still walking, you still talking, you still smiling. What are you doing that got you like this? Because maybe one day I need that to survive. That's how you move in this world. But all of these people is compromised. Everybody's compromised. Martin Luther King was compromised. The reason why they took Malcolm X out, I'm going to tell you why they took Malcolm X out. Malcolm X, what you thought the Nation of Islam was doing? What you think Elijah Muhammad was doing? He was doing pedophilia bullshit. When he seen that, started speaking about it, he became a marked man. Yeah. Martin Luther King, same thing. Martin Luther King he's a Jesuit baby. His real name is not even Martin Luther. His father changed his name after he took a trip to Germany. What the heck is slaves this is Jim Crow laws, rules and regulations. And when he was born, what the heck is slaves doing in Germany? He was handpicked from the gate to do what you guys see now. Chosen. But when he realized he was being bamboozled, I think I'm leading my people into a burning house. You guys know this. Do your homework. Do your homework. You guys are very aware of this. All of this. Everything that's around you is literally a puppet master with the puppet on the string. And guess who's the puppets? Guess who's the puppets? These people know what they doing. This nigga, listen, Martin Luther King was having dinner with the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds came to sit down with this nigga. Come on, guys. Stop. The Rothschilds came to sit down with the nigga. Let me tell you. Listen, check this out. You want to know when America? You want to know when America became the United States? You want to know when this place called America became the United States? When the Titanic, all of a sudden sunk. You hear me? You hear me? Yeah. Let them tell you why. Let them tell you the real reason why that ship sunk. Let them tell you who was on those ships. That's when America was gone. And America still hasn't recovered till then. From that moment on, check this out. Do the track record. From that moment on, war after war, drama after drama, civil rights, this Jim Crow. Listen, KKK was started by Freemasons. Albert Pike was one of the founding fathers of the KKK. I bet you didn't know that. The Hebrew Israelite, the founding fathers of the Hebrew Israelites was Freemasons. I bet you didn't know that. T.D. Jakes, all of them, Freemasons. All of that. Jay-Z, Bole, Freemason. You have to be initiated. From the initiation, you do your rituals. They see if you're suited, capable of literally going up the ranks. You ever notice that Jay-Z don't talk about Jesus? They gave you that, oh, Lucifer, son in the morning. No. These people know what's going on. All of this is just a facade. And for us as the sheep, that's what we are. We are the sheep, right? We are the sheep, right? Jesus came for the lost sheep. You are the sheep. That's why they tell you to come to the church. You got to come to church on Sunday. Come to church on Saturday. Come worship. Worship. Okay? Let me pray upon you. You are the weaklings. You get preyed on like an animal that comes to devour. That comes with religion. That's how the demons get inside of you. That's how the spirit takes hold on you. You got to pray on that person. Put your hands on their head. You know, your temple. Remember when a child is born, they're born with this not fully closed because this is still connected to the universe. Tell your girl that. You on dope right now. You take heavy dopamine every single day. Exactly. Exactly. But like people don't even understand how shit goes, bro. Why you think they call you a sheep? Why you think they tell you to come to church? Church is who? Church is Circe, a Greek goddess whose powers was to turn people into animals and make them act like clowns. The circus. Church is literally the circus. Why you think people act a fool when they're in church? Why you think when you go when you go to church, right? No matter what you believe in, once you go inside that church, you feel like something is over you and you gain back control once you leave the church. How? How? Because that's how it goes. It's all about control. Why you think every minute, everywhere you look, when it's pertaining to children, they refer to children as kids? Why? Because kids are meant to be sacrificed. Why you think the Bible tells you all about child sacrifice, animal sacrifice. God requires a sacrifice. You thinking he's talking about food. He's talking about the children. The entire story is about genocide and sacrificing of humans and children. You just got to be in the know to understand it. That's why the book says, he that got the eyes to see, let him see, and the ears to hear, let him hear. Not everybody was put on this earth to see that. But everybody was put on this earth to hear that. Exactly. They tell you that it's demons. But yet listen, Jesus told you his position. Jesus said he went into hell and raised up the demons in hell and told them about himself. Come on. All Jesuits. There's no such thing as a resurrection. The resurrection is a rituals. If you know anybody in Freemasonry, ask them. They say, yo, when you go up the ranks, what is one of the requirements? It was like, oh yeah, they put you in a coffin and you have to be born again. In order for you to be the 33 master teacher, you have to be put in a coffin and then you be raised again. That comes from the Jesuit story. It's a Jesuit story. All of this, all lies. Listen, I tell you guys all the time, the reason why we docile, the reason why we're marching and we protesting and we're complaining and we're crying and we're begging the very people that's violating us every day. We're begging them to fix it like bitch ass niggas. We begging them, please stop, please, please, please. That's where they want you. You know where that spirit comes from? Comes from religion. That's why religion was given onto the masses. That's why the Crusades and all of these shits took place. The Crusades took place because they had to create a new institutionalized doctrine for you guys to accept in order for you guys to be in a state of dependency on the very establishment. It's basically like, look, this is the religion. If there's a problem, come on to me, holler at me. We'll sit down with the people. We'll make it right. But when you got control over your soul, it's like, nah, bro. What you mean making it right, nigga? You gonna do it right now? People ask me all the time, yo, bro, you got all this knowledge. How come you not doing, etc.? It's like, my nigga, you telling me the little old me, 5'11", 192, is gonna be able to stand up against an entire tycoon that got everything in the palm of their hands? These niggas control the weather. These niggas could just press a button and a missile could go pew. I'm still looking into the reincarnation. I'm still there's no heaven, there's no earth. I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that your soul does not go heaven or hell. It remains on the earth. That's another thing too. Look, when somebody and when somebody that you love transition, you're not supposed to take them to a cemetery. You're not supposed to take them away from their family. Their body's supposed to remain next to the family. This is universal. You know, we've been doing this for centuries. There was no such thing as, burying them 10,000 miles away or in another country. You kept them with your family, right? The reason why you guys are detached from your ancestors and your loved ones is because these people gave you an ideology that when somebody dies, you're supposed to mourn. You don't mourn the death of someone. You embrace the new transition. right? Just like when a child is born, you don't cry, you embrace it. That is the same thing when it's pertaining to death. You're not supposed to be sad. When you're sad, the actual person that transitioned is still next to you. When you're crying, by universal law, they must depart because they're bringing pain to you. And then when they try to come to you, you've been so brainwashed based on what religion tells you, you then see that as a demon. So now you are afraid. Now you go bring, you bring priests, you bring etc. Why am I saying that? Because me myself, I experienced that. When my father passed away, my father would not leave the house. He was like, listen, I'm not leaving my family. I'm not leaving my children. Right. I used to feel him. Pause. I had a lady that lived upstairs from me. She also said, yo, she told my moms, yo, I seen your husband like literally walk by in my dreams. Like she thought she was dreaming, but in reality, the nigga was there. And my mom was so petrified, she called in a voodoo priest. Now the voodoo priest, remember, they had the powers to see on the other side, right? So when they called the voodoo priest did whatever he did, and now my father depart. I'm not gonna say he departed from from my life. I'm gonna say he departed from entering the home, because what the voodoo priest did, now that I have understanding, is he put a force field that prevented my father from entering the house. I'm telling you, bro. You was never supposed to bury your loved ones in a far place, all that. You're not even supposed to listen. You're not even supposed to be putting your ancestors, your loved ones in a coffin. That is disrespecting to the earth. That's why you have maggots. Maggots is worms. Worms go back into the earth. They fuel the earth. You go back into the soil. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Your soul connects to the solar universe. When you transition, you're supposed to be put back into the soil. The same way you was put on this earth is the same way you're supposed to be put back. You're supposed to be put back naked. Why you think the Egyptians wrapped their bodies up? They didn't have clothes on them. They wrapped their bodies up because they believed, or should I say, they knew about the return of certain individuals. So, like I said, I don't have all the knowledge and understanding when it's pertaining to the reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? The ancestors then put it upon me to go dive deep into that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe later on in life, you know what I'm saying, I get a better understanding. But at the moment right now, I know that we're not supposed to be buried 50 million miles away. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be buried in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? One of the reasons why the slaves, when they got freedom, they had massive land, was those lands was places where they buried their loved ones. You buried your loved ones and you still feel their presence. Religion is the reason why we say, oh, that's a demon. That's demonic. That's evil. That's wicked. Oh, no, I'm going to run. Oh, Jesus. Meanwhile, you're praying to a man that's literally a walking, talking zombie. You understand what I'm saying to you guys? So a lot of things that we have been taught by the Jesuits, we have to break free. The Bible tells you you shall be persecuted for my name's sake. You guys believe that the persecution is going to be you are a follower of Jesus and the entire world is against Jesus and you're going to be persecuted for that. No, that's absolutely Ashkenaz. That's complete bogus, foolish ideology. What that means is when you get to the point where you reject Jesus, because we are making that transition in the world. If you pay attention and you look around on what's going on around you, you see today's children are not engaged in religion. You see today's mothers and fathers are waking up, not engaging in religion. You see the churches is going down. You see the mosques is going down. That's why they're bringing these jihadi niggas into the United States to cause a level of fear because they want you to be. It's like, all right, well, if you're not going to take Christianity, then you better take Islam. If you're not going to take either or, we're going to unalive you. That's exactly where we're heading. And I know it's far. I know it seems far fetched because a lot of you guys was brought up into this ideology, but that's where it's going. People are breaking free from the control. This is why they're putting all of these things out. This is why they're giving you all these distractions. This is why they're doing et cetera, because they know that we are living in the age of information where a lot of people is gaining intel, gaining a knowledge and wisdom. A lot of you guys is listening to people like me, like, nah, like, yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Like you said, yo, you right, bro. I'm saying things where you guys like, yo, you know what? I was thinking that, but I thought I was crazy. But now it's starting to make sense. So they see that. So how do you combat that? You combat that with distractions. You combat that with fear, right? You combat that with weather molecules and controls and putting down snow that can't melt. That's taking 30 years to melt. You understand what I'm saying? All of these shits is intentional. Absolutely. I used to work for ACS, man. I'm telling you this right now. Absolutely. Matter of fact, there are studies out right now that shows that during the early 90s to the early 2000s, foster children in New York City was being experimented on for there's being experimented on, treated with STDs, et cetera, et cetera. What you think? Look up what's his name, Marion Sims. He is the pioneer of all medical studies when it's pertaining to women's health. That nigga's the one that came up with the concept melanated women can endure pain. They don't need amnesia, anesthesia, whatever you want to call it. They the ones that he was the one. Matter of fact, the man had a statue in Central Park. You know why they put him in Central Park? You know, Central Park was the hub for runaway slaves. You guys are aware of this, right? That was an insult of all insults. Not only are we gonna take over this place, not only are we gonna put laws that prevent you guys to be here, we're gonna make it the most expensive place you can ever imagine. And then we're going to put a statue of this man who openly brought you guys to run experiments on. The devil didn't kill nobody. Yes. See? So you know about Marion Sims. The devil never killed a single soul. If you read the Bible thoroughly, you will see that the devil didn't kill absolutely nobody. Again, this is how you know that the book was created by these people. It was created to give you good and evil. Just like everything that these people do is to create division, right? Is good and evil. You got the left wing, right wing. You got up, you got down. They try to create their own version of the universal law. You understand? You understand what I'm saying to you guys? The devil didn't kill nobody. In fact, in fact, there's not even proof that the devil is the reason for the world being in the chaos. Because if you want to be technical, isn't it God, the creator of good and evil? Doesn't God have the power to put the end to all wickedness? If you are, let me tell you something. And I know when I say this to you, when I say this on lives, a lot of people get upset. They'll be like, nah, I ain't listening to him no more, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm gonna say this because I have to get this out for you. Ask your question, bro. So while you ask the question, let me finish saying what I was saying. Right. When you read the book thoroughly, bro, you will see that absolutely nobody in the book had absolutely no respect for God. The God of the Bible got absolutely no respect from anybody, from Saul, from Jacob, from Jacob's wife, Moses, who else? David, who else? Solomon, who else? Um, Jonah, who else? Uh, 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 Aaron, who else? The Israelite community itself didn't have no respect for God. This is facts. Read the book. Put your emotions aside. Read it the way it's supposed to be read. It is not supposed to be read like it's a historical book. This is a numeral Masonic message. I forgot how you say it, but they tell you precept upon precept. You got to read it literal. You can't read it as if some mystical story, etc., etc. These things are lies, bro. It's lies. They tell you to be like that because they want you to have a reasoning to accept the contradictions, to accept the confusion, to accept the lies, to accept the deception. Job didn't even respect. Job, we Job. Job was like, Job got to the point where he was like, yo, man, yo, God, you really doing this to me, bro? Yo, son, Job was ready to put a demon inside of him, right? Because he was supposedly insane. Hey, that's still the $1 million question. So let me elaborate into what you're saying. So let me add another question on top of the question that you asked, right? Not saying what you're saying. What you're saying is phenomenal. I appreciate it. But the same question you got to ask that person or ask yourself, right? Is so God sent his begotten son to die for the sins of humanity. But we are in 2026. Sin is still here. So you sacrifice your son for no reason. And not only that, but if you sent Jesus to die for the sins of humanity, then why was slavery initiated? And why did God allow that to even proceed to go on? You see what I'm saying? When you read the book, you'll see that nobody has absolutely no respect for this God. And sin, let me just give you a clear understanding of what sin is. Look on your phone, right? Type in sin. You're gonna see that sin is a moon god. Sin is the moon god. When you see sin, AI, you get Sinai. Okay? Again, Masonic, Luciferian, the all this Abrahamic religion is in worship of the moon. Of sin. Matter of fact, I know my other phone about to die. I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna go on Chat GPT. No, I ain't put up a whole new one. Show you right now. Look. Okay, hold on. Let me turn this off so you guys can see. Let me turn on my green screen for a minute. Look. So so I said, is there a moon god named Sin, right? The answer says yes. This is a historical moon god. There is a historical moon god named Sin, also known as Nana. Okay. Who was Sin? Sin, who was Sin? Sin civilization, ancient Mesopotamia, Sumerians, Academians, Babylonians, and the Assyrians. The Sumerians named Nana. The Academians named it Sin. The domain, moon, wisdom, time, fertility, excuse me. Main temple, Ur, and Haran. Okay? This is where sin comes from. All of this goes back again to Masonic Jesuit order. So like I said, when you start doing your homework, when you start when yeah, Snoop Dogg was a fisherman. When you start doing your homework and you really want to uncover what's going on, you're gonna be shocked to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. So when you hear Moses spoke to when Moses was on Mount Sinai, his God that he was talking to was the moon god, right? The moon god, right, is the God that gave Moses the so-called commandments, right? So when you see the establishment upon this world, the whole entire world is under the canon law. The canon law is the biblical law. The biblical law mimics everything that comes from the Old Testament, right? Eye for an eye. They pick and choose eye for an eye. But then when it comes to the slaves, you're supposed to turn the other cheek. These are all Masonic rituals that's literally created and designed to keep you in a state of what? Like I said, like I said, Jesus, the name Jesus alone, the way that it's spelled, Jesus, spell out Jesuit. Spell out Jesuit. Spell out Jesuit and spell out Jesus. Jesus is the God of this world. Jesus literally runs this world. If you're thinking that what I'm saying not to be true, you can go to Brazil right now and look up, and you will see a statue that's in the face in the image of Jesus. When you go into New York City and you look at the Statue of Liberty, the Statue of Liberty carries the same exact outfit as Jesus. In fact, word on the street is that if you was to shave Jesus' beard totally, wipe clean, he will look exactly like the Statue of Liberty. When you see the image that Jesus displays in his pictures, he's always like this. When you see the satanic pictures, the Baphomet, it's always like this. All by design, people. Religion is the biggest tool used to confuse, divide, separate, and initiate Jesuit agenda. Everything is literally, even the things that they say of what did the brother tell me? They say that they put it on TV for you guys to see. So when it happens, they don't have a guilty conscience. They think that by them showing you and telling you in advance and you being in acceptance or liking it or okaying it, they don't have the universal karma that comes upon them. But what you guys don't understand is the universe is already against them. It's us that's literally still allowing this shit to continue because we don't want to let go of their ideology. Look how the brother just said, Jesus is the one true God. He is the way, the truth, and the light. How can he be the way, the truth, and the light when Jesus was the very name and following and religion that was forced upon the entire world? What is the Crusades about? When I bring this up to a Christian and I say, "Oh, son, explain the Crusade," they be like, we don't know too much." I'm like, how you don't know what you're worshiping? How you don't know how did Jesus come into your house? How did Jesus come into your heart? Jesus didn't come into your heart based on miracles, witness. Jesus came into the heart based on brutality, um, convictions and beatings and torture and murder that was done onto your family members. And they said, listen, I don't want that for my baby. And brothers and sisters made that transition. Listen, you see how you said the Statue of Liberty is supposed to be Satan? What you think Jesus is? Jesus tells you in the Bible that he is Satan. He tells you this in the Bible. And listen, he tells you it in the last chapter page of the book to let you know that he was saying. He waited to the very end to tell you guys, I am Lucifer. If you I mean, even when you look at the outfit that the Statue of Liberty has, and you see the outfit Jesus had from the image that they created. You see that he has you see the Statue of Liberty had the Jesus slippers on, the long dress or whatever you want to call it. That's the same thing that Jesus had on. That's the same thing that the judges also wear. Why? Because Jesus is the creation of the Jesuit, the judicial system, the Jesuit system. That's where Jesus come from. These people that listen, no, everybody knows this. You guys know this, but as like I said, you guys prefer to be in good terms with these people because we are dope heads. We are dope addicts. We are dopamine addicts, and we do not want our dopamine to be compromised. We don't want it to be affected. We want it to be the way that it is. As long as I get to eat whatever I want, dress how I want, drive where I want, talk to how much women as I want, have sex, smoke weed, play video games, live my life, I'm cool. Why am I trying to go against that? And everything that I have mentioned all affects your dopamine. That's another reason why we're docile. So you got religion, and then you got the excessive amount of dopamine being fed unto us, right? How do you feed the dopamine? You got to give everybody the feel good doctrine. You got to give everybody sugar. You got to give everybody coffee. You got to give everybody bread. All of these things have sugar in it. Sugar is worse than crack cocaine. You thinking that I'm lying? Sugar is the reason why our teeth is falling out. Sugar is the reason why we're going blind. Sugar is the reason why we're turning gay. Sugar is the reason why we're so emotional. Sugar is the reason why your sex drive is bad. Sugar, 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 sugar. That is the reason for it all. Sugar is the cousin. Sugar is the cousin, uncle, baby brother, older brother of cocaine. They come from the same family. Do the same thing. Crack cocaine is not. Crack has to be mixed with baking soda to be worse than sugar. We talking about the pure, my brother, pure. Husa, come to reality, bro. We talking about the purity. If I take sugar and I take cocaine, you say crack cocaine. Crack cocaine is mixed with baking soda for you to get crack. Cocaine at its purest is just as powerful as sugar. They come from the same family tree, bro. They do the same damage. You become addicted, right? When you put cocaine on your gums, it numbs your gums. If you take amount of sugar and you eat it, you eat raw sugar all day, you put it on your gums, your teeth can't fall out. What are you talking about, sir? I used to cook it up, bro. When I had to go see Poppy, I had to go like this. The quicker it numbs my teeth, it's like, oh, this is some good shit. It's literally, it's literally the family of crack cocaine. Why you think they put sugar in everything? What you think Alzheimer's is? Alzheimer's is what? Sugar in the brain. What you think cataracts in the eye is? That's sugar in the eyes. What you think diabetes is? Sugar in the blood. What you think, you know what I'm saying? Like this is how powerful sugar is. Why you think they've been throwing sugar at us all the time? Why you think when you look at their commercials, you're seeing sugary commercials, right? Things to make you want to buy sugar. Try this new milkshake. What does milkshake consist of? Milk and sugar. Milk and sugar is just like crack and cocaine. I mean, excuse me, milk and sugar is just like baking soda and cocaine. You put them together, it's a substance that's so powerful that's gonna do more damage than good. Exactly, bro. Sugar is in everything, bro. Everything. Even your season got sugar in it, bro. Your seasoning. If you're in the, why do you think they got a different now? Why do you think all of a sudden now they got organic seasoning? They put sugar in everything, bro. Everything. Because once you become a sugar addict, your dopamine is gonna be compromised. Anybody that's a dopamine addict can never be self-dependent, can never be can never function on their own. Will never. Yeah. Come on. Why you and what's the number? What's America's favorite drink? Soda. What is soda consisted of? 69 grams of sugar. Can you imagine 69 grams of sugar in a can of soda? Now the average person that drinks soda every day, how they look? Obese, out of shape, can't fight, always emotional. That's intentional. Now you go into stores now, stores will say things, oh, we're less than 5%, 5 grams of sugar. We'll say, oh, zero sugar added. So it's zero sugar added. So what was it before you came out with the zero sugar added? And why would you have to put zero sugar? Because people are waking up and realizing, yo, sugar is the cause of my diabetes. Sugar is the reason why I'm sick. Sugar is the reason why shit is going on. It's sugar. Exactly. 78% on a can of soda, bro. Why you think today's children can't sit still? And what do they use? What you think when a child can't sit still, what they gotta give them? They gotta give them a pill, right? All pills is a small substance of cocaine, or low doses of cocaine mixed with other shit that's gonna make them do what? That's gonna combat the excessive amount of sugar in that child, so that child can sit his ass down. Absolutely. Listen, look, let me let you understand why Trump is doing what he's doing. Right? The reason why Trump is doing what he's doing is, first of all, Trump is in office to preserve the white race. This is no disrespect to my Europeans, but the purpose of being elected by you guys was he was the man that was going to do everything in his power. Well, this is what he was marketing to you guys, that he was going to preserve the white, or AKA the European race. You guys are realizing that they are betraying you. People are waking up and realizing that he's not for us. He's for the Jesuit order, the people that put him in position that's going to establish laws that's going to enslave the people, the keepers under their control, right? So now, not only do they want us under their control, they want our our resources, which they're already taken, and now they want to run experiments on us. That's what the so-called pandemic was about. Experiment. It was never about some shit in the air. There's been shit in the air from the very existence of humanity. That was not the reason for that. The reason for that is now they want complete control. We are an experiment. They want everybody under their control, under their grid. Like I said before, like I told you before, people are waking up and breaking free from the original control, which was religion. So since people are not religion, let me ask you a question. You ever notice when the so-called pandemic occurred, you ever seen that they had so much census people coming all through the communities, going to the churches, knocking on people's doors, trying to see how many people is there, et cetera, et cetera. And they was consistent. They was very aggressive, knocking on your door. If you told them nobody said three people, they'll come back the next week and the next week. You know why? Because they needed to see how many, who was in the house, that a lot of you guys that answered these things told them who was living in the house. A lot of you guys are the reason why the so-called ICEs are at your establishment, because you guys were signing up for your demise. Jesus don't love us, bro. Elijah, please. Jesus don't love nobody. Jesus loves the Jesuits that created him. Okay. Caesar Borgia. Okay. Pope's son. Okay. Jesus don't love nobody. The Pope's father that created Caesar Borgia was also at the council meetings. Okay. You don't know what you're talking about, sir. We don't need Jesus. We need each other. Pause. Open your door for me. Open your door. When shit hit the fan, open your door. Allow me and all my family members and my homies to be in your crib, sit down with you, feed us, right? According to Jesus, right? You must cater and be there for fellow brethren. Open your doors, allow us to come in there. Let me make sure you got a size 11 Tim boots. You understand? PS5. You understand? A generator. You understand? Are you willing to do all of that in the name of Jesus? Me and my homies. Of course. I know that. I know Caesar Borgia is a painting. And I also know that that's the Pope's son. Yeah. Yeshua is Jesuit as well. The Hebrew language is their tongue. Don't fall for the narrative, bro. All of it is lies, my guy. All of it is lies, bro. Everything goes back to the Jesuit order. In fact, they the ones that told you that they the ones that told you Yeshua. There's nobody in the land. There's nobody on the land that can trace back the origin of Jesus' name, the Yeshua that we people talking about. All of this was information given to you by them. Oh yeah, by the way, his name wasn't Jesus, because like I said, people are waking up. It's like, wait, hold on. So if Jesus was here, if Jesus is his name, but you're telling me that he was here 2,000 years ago, but we know that the J language came in it came in the 1600s, but Jesus lived before that. So that couldn't be his name. There was his name. It was like, you know what? Yeah. So this was his name. All intentional. All lies, bro. I used to think, listen, I'm telling you this for a man that once upon a time thought he was a Hebrew Israelite. All of this is lies, bro. He was not real. Because if he was real, you will be able to tell me his childhood, the neighborhood that he grew up in, the people that he saved. You'll be able to show me where exactly he was captured at, where exactly he was buried at, where his mother and his father lived for the remainders of their years. You cannot provide any intel. You know why? Because your information of this character goes from what they tell you. You're unable to do that. Just like you're unable to show just like you're unable to show where did David live, where did Solomon live, where Solomon's children, his wife. You guys say he had 500 wives. Nobody can pinpoint five, not even give us 10, not even give us four. Can't do it because it's not real, bro. I'm telling you that all of this goes back to the Jesuit order, bro. Jesus was 33 years old when he transitioned. It was easy. It was easy. It really wasn't. It wasn't hard for people. People been writing, but that listen, you gotta understand when these people tell you stuff like this, they try to make it seem like people wasn't intelligent, like we was dumbfounded. You gotta understand, there was pyramids and education way before the creation of Jesus ever even arrived. So it was very easy for people to write and very easy for people to tell the stories and passed on. Think about this. Ask yourself this question. A man that did all these miracles, the entire world to this very day will be like, yo, this was the area right here where this man, turn this wine, this water into wine. It was right here at this time. Though I teach my children, my children's children, going to always remember. Can't prove that. Yo, this is where I took a loaf of bread and fed 5,000 people. You would never forget that, bro. So let me ask you a question. So making paper, making ink. So these are the same people that was also wearing clothes. You know, ink goes on clothes. You know, people was writing on tablets. You know, back in the days, people was self-sufficient. How you so let me ask you a question. How do you look up the DNA? Which DNA am I going to look at? Which DNA I'm going to look at and who's providing the DNA? So, for example, if somebody says that I'm from the lineage of something, right? In order for you to prove that you're from the lineage of something, you must first have the original person from that lineage, right? And then take something, a sample out of you and see if it matches that lineage. I I believe that the story of Gilgamesh is to be accurate. The story of Jesus, the entire story of Jesus, the Bible is not accurate, bro. That's all I'm saying. I listen from what I gathered. From what I gathered, the reason for the invasion of Iraq was for the drugs that you see people taking now, the opioids, the Percocets, and all of these drugs that you see that's made their way into the hood. You understand? The poppy seeds and shit like that. And that's from one end. On the other hand, the reason why a lot of people they invaded that area is because the nigga didn't want to, Saddam did not want to do business with these people. Like I said, my the goal, look, at the end of the day, all I'm saying is the story that's written out of that book is complete lies. All of it. All of it is, listen, you're better off believing Jesus. I mean, Santa Claus went into the project elevators to give gifts to every child that's living in the projects before you can believe any story that comes out of the Biblos, the barbaric, satanic, Luciferian Jesuit book. It's a Jesuit book, bro. This is facts. This is not even me making this up. This is facts. Yeah, but the Gilgamesh has nothing to do with the Biblos. We're talking about the Biblos. We're talking about the characters in the Biblos. The Bible had, we're talking, when it's pertaining to the Bible, the book, the basic instructions before leaving earth, the Biblos, which means a volume of books, that is a lie. Nah, nah, bro. All of it is a lie. Can be proven, bro. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna take a Jesuit created story. Like I said, the book of, for example, the New Testament, right, is literally a copy and paste from the Egyptian writings. Now, is the Egyptian writings like the Book of the Dead and Horus or these things real? Me personally, I don't know. I know that the Biblos, the Bible, is a European Jesuit created book by Constantine and all his council members that took ancient writings from all kingdoms that was ruling at the time and created this story. Did they take stuff from the story of Gilgamesh? Yes, they did. This is where you get the Noah story, right? Am I saying that the story of Gilgamesh is not real? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the Biblos, it's a fictional book, the Biblos. You're telling me the Bible is real because it got certain parts of that. That's not how things go. If I create, if I give you, for example, right, we got 3D scan meat, right? It looks like meat, right? It has samples of meat, but the main foundation of it is fake. Does that mean that the food is real? No, it's still fake. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The book is fake. Story is not real. It's inaccurate. Can't prove anything. You said no one calls it the Biblos but the government agent. I'm calling it for what they said. It's called the Biblos. Now I'm a paid agent. I got work at a few. I'm the pay agent. Do I look like somebody that could be a pay agent? Make it make sense. Yeah, make it make sense. Make it make sense. You said which religious? I don't follow. Like I said, me for me as a melanated man, anything that's pertaining with religion that came from the Jesuit order that was created by them, I don't subscribe to. I subscribe to Ogun, O'Shea. My descendants go back to Haiti, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna stand with Jean Jacques, Louverture, Jean Jacques Dessalines. These are the things. These are the individuals that I stand by. You know what I'm saying? I stand by what my ancestors did in West Africa. You know what I'm saying? I follow anything that was done in the land before the arrival of any European ideology, whether it's Islam, Judaism, or Christianity. Peace and light, peace and enlighten. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Go ahead, go pay your people to run my name, run whatever. You'll find that I was a regular nigga that went to school, that seen what was going on, that took religion out of my four eyes and put what was in front of me, which is my reality. Yeah, I follow false magic. Yeah, you're a weirdo, bro. Please go bother somebody else's life, my guy. It's way too late for me to be arguing with somebody like yourself, bro. I have plenty. If you go watch other lives and you stop being a weirdo, you will see that I have plenty of books. Look, hold on. Let me put an end to the weirdo, guys. Hold on. Let me put an end to the weirdo. Hold on. I don't even entertain weirdos, but I like when people say that I'm an agent. It's beautiful. Let me show you. Look at this. Look at this. See all these books? You see that? Yeah. I'm an agent, guys. Mm-hmm. Tell the agent, tell the weirdo go sit somewhere. I'm an agent. Every time, listen, this is who they bring. Every time a melanated man stands up and want to represent, black liberation, melanated liberation, that don't want to be caught up in the division and the hatred and put logical common sense out there. They send weirdos like that to come in and navigate the story. So please go on, sir. Go find somebody else to bother. This is not a place for you, sir. Yeah. You're on timeout for the rest of the day. See you later, sir. This is who they bring. This is how they bring controversy and confusion. They'll be like, he's an agent. Me? you must now just now coming onto my channel. Because if you knew who I was or where I come from or what I've done, you even knew my back records or what I've done in the streets. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, bro. Listen, let's put it like this. When these niggas reached out to me, I told them I was good. Yeah. They told me they was watching me for 7 years. I gave my testimony all the time. I ain't got to lie about it. They had sent people on my Instagram. Let me show you my Instagram, right? Let me show you. Hold on. Let me turn off this green screen. Let me show you guys my Instagram so you guys know that I'm not lying. All right, look, this is how much people is tuning in right now. All right, let me show you guys something. Does this look like somebody that's an agent? Right? So anyway, the reason why I'm showing you this is these people reached out to me and they told me, and I got the invitation somewhere. I don't know, it's probably in the podcast room. But these niggas sent me an invitation, told me that they was watching and following me for 7 years. And they told me, yo, we like what you're doing. We would love for you to be a part of the organization. I declined it. Said, well, for what it's worth, I don't think that it's worth for anyone to take their time out to read any kind of ancient, whether religious or otherwise. Yeah, I read all types of books. But anyway, like I was saying, so these people reached out to me, said they've been watching me for 7 years. I gracefully said, nah, I'm good. They was like, yo, we could take what you're saying, bring it up to new levels, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, I'm good, right? They sent an individual into my Instagram. Man, just sent me a DM out of nowhere. Matter of fact, not only did they send the nigga to send me a DM, but the nigga didn't even go through. When somebody sends you a DM that's not on your friends list, it goes to your request, and then you gotta look into it, and then you add it to your generals or your primary. This man automatically just came on my joint. So I'm like, yo, what's up? Boom, boom, boom. Someone's like, yeah, yo, I see your content. I love what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. We would love for you to join. Man, show me a bag, show me with all the jewelry on, pocket full of money, like, yo, sitting in a Lamborghini, like, yo, man, you can have all this, man. What's up? You want to join the Freemasonry? I said, nah, I'm good. Nigga came one last time. He said, yo, bro, this is my final offer. I said, nah, I'm good. The next day, that entire man, you know, when somebody, it says Instagram user, you don't know who is who, what is what. That was it. Never seen that man ever again. Never seen, never received another letter in the mail, nothing. Everything that you see here is literally hard work, me by myself. No team, no nothing. You see what time it is? What time is it right now? 1:20. About to go to bed right now. I read. Look, when it comes to David Icke and Malachi Z, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know too much about Malachi. David Icke. When I was younger, you know, he was the guy that was bringing forth this whole reptilian stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I don't dive into that. Like I said, that's not my focus due to the fact that it takes me away from what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, my goal is to set the people free. That's what my podcast is for. You know, I want my podcast to be for you guys. You know, an opportunity for you guys to come on, talk your talk. Like for the brother that says, you know, for my brother John, if I'm saying his name right, hold on. Where he at? Yeah, John. John helps. Yeah, like if you got intel and you want to bring forth, then come on. Like I'm all ears. I'm all ears. But one thing that I'm telling you from off the gate, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Biblos, whether whether it's the Torah, the Sefer, the Jujitsa, anything that comes from an Abrahamic religion, I don't want no parts of it. Any religion that was forced upon people, I do not want to study it. I studied enough. Like I got the book of it. I got the Josepha. I got the book of Jasher. I got Enoch, Jubilees. I read all these books, bro. So when it's pertaining to religion, all of, like I said, all of it goes back to the Jesuit order. All of it. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm over that. But if you're gonna give me information that's gonna enlighten me, like if you're gonna give me information, like my brother, my older brother, he's into the Anunnakis and stuff like that. He's into that. You know what I'm saying? When he gathered the intel, I'll let him bring it to me. You know what I'm saying? The solution, the solution is breaking free from the pollution. The pollution comes from this ideology. You know what I'm saying? The solution comes from the ideology. But that's the first solution. The second solution is holding ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? Accountability and honesty. My mom just texted me at 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see that? But that's my bad. Yeah, you see that, right? My bad, y'all. That joint was crazy just now. But that's the solution. You know what I'm saying? The solution is breaking free from the pollution. That's, you know what I'm saying? The solution is holding ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? Being honest. Accountability, honesty is the number one policy. I say that again. The next solution is bridging the gap between the man and the woman. Society, these Jesuits have divided the households, has literally created brackets and tiers, top tiers, bottom tiers, left tiers, right tiers, etc. We got to break free from that. You understand? The next, and then after that, the detoxification, right? We overdose off the dopamine. We got to break free from the dopamine. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to, right? We got to put the phones down. We got to go back to natural order. Once we establish those things and make that the foundation, then we're going to be able to communicate, look each other in the eyes without any difference, because you're going to start gaining back your control. From that moment on, then we can proceed to do everything else. Until that happens, all of this shit, I could talk about this a million times. I can bring this up 1,000 times and you guys will hear it, say facts 100%, but then we'll go right back into the ways of go back to regular living because we've been programmed. You understand? We are under a program. We are under a Hollywood script. We gotta break free. The Jesuit orders have complete control. Look. I'm gonna tell you what one of the owners of I'm gonna tell you one of the owners of one of the owners of the Barclays. I'm gonna tell you what he said. It says just Stanley, CEO of the Barclays, one of the largest banks in the world, emailed Jeffrey Epstein. He says, "You want to know why we are not uh, well, not Sablo Pablo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks, hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by who? By Jay-Z. In 2013, millions of Brazilians took to the streets against corruption and equality. Stanley is telling Epstein's that won't happen here. Americans are too distracted. Pop culture has done its job." This is him saying this. Okay? This is a bank CEO saying this. You understand? They know that they got us right where they need us because our dopamine, we are we are addicted, crack, and I don't want to say crackheads, but we are dope fiends. So they know this. They mock us. They laugh at us. This is why I said earlier in the beginning of this live, why they're comfortable now releasing all this information because they know that we're not going to rebel. They know that we're not going to rebel. They know that we're not going to fight back. They know that we're not going to go against the grain. They know that. They listen. Look, the time for when it was time for us to stand up and do something and stand united as so-called Americans, we folded, bro. When they said, in order for you to have a job, you had to get situated. Everybody ran to get situated. From that moment on, I knew without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what happens, we're not going to even be built to survive what's coming. That's intentional. Look what's going. Look. Check this out. Let me show you how you know that these people be playing with your psyche. Right. Check this out. You guys will see all on the news. Right. For the entire month of January, you guys been seeing the Minnesota bullshit. Right. The entire month of January. February comes. You don't hear nothing because they got to prep you for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl happens. Nobody is even think about Minnesota no more. Everybody's talking about Yo, what the Patriots did, what the Seahawks did. Everybody right now is getting ready for the so-called All-Star weekend for the basketball. They know we're not gonna do nothing. They know that we rather be entertained. They know this. They know this. When I see you guys, and I'm not talking about you, but when I see people on TikTok saying we're gonna boycott Target, we're gonna boycott Walmart, and we're gonna stop shopping, I laugh. I said, man, stop. I'm like, stop. Y'all not gonna do nothing. Not only are you not gonna do nothing, it's gonna be us in there more than anybody else. Stop. Stop. Just not gonna happen. And we need to just stop being delusional and allowing these people to come on these platforms to, pushing these narratives, because you're not gonna do it. You telling me your child got one pamper, one diaper left for the day. You're telling me that you're not gonna go to the store where you get it for the discount, but you're gonna just take a stand. You're not gonna do that. We've been programmed not to do that. Exactly. Valentine's Day. Even my lady, right? My birthday is tomorrow, and she want to go out. She want to go out Friday, right? I'm like, all right, cool, we could do that. So my birthday's tomorrow. She want to go out Friday. I was like, yo, so we could go out Saturday too. She said, I really don't want to go out because everybody's gonna be in their Valentine's Day spirit, and we don't celebrate these things. So it's like, yeah, I hear you. You feel me? So the fact that she's telling me that she also knows, and I remember when I first met my wife, she was not even on that type of time. She was literally like everybody else, go to work, make money, live their best lives. But when you start seeing shit for what it is, it's like, yo, we really in a shit show. We really are under these people's control. Like, these niggas say jump and we say how high. These people say relax. You're like, okay. These people say, look, people went crazy when they thought their food stamps was about to be terminated. Like, people really was going crazy. Yo, if I don't get my food stamps, I'm going to do this. And I'm over here and I'm like, you serious? Shout out to you, man. Welcome. Listen, if this is your first time on the channel, man, join the channel, subscribe, follow me, watch all the podcasts, man. I want these podcasts to make it to the table on all these niggas tables, so they know, like, yeah, we coming. If listen, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. Don't worry, I'll do it. Let me just make enough money so I could take my family out of here, and I'm coming out guns blazing on these people. Facts. Yeah. Just when it was time for us to strike, when it was time for us to show how we was united as Americans, we didn't stand up as Americans. We stand down like U.S. citizens. It's a big difference. It's a big difference between an American and a U.S. citizen. They knew that we was gonna take the U.S. citizen route, and they got us. They got us. They got us. So at the end of the day, guys, at the end of the day, when I hear people talking about, yo, we're gonna protest, we're gonna march, we're gonna do this, we gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop marching, protesting. Is not gonna do nothing to a economy that never sleeps. The only way to put this economy to sleep and to stop these niggas from playing with you is you gotta stop what makes this place float, which is money, transactions, working, That's how you make your presence known. Anything outside of that, bro, please. Please. These people ain't worrying about us. Please. People talk about, yeah, we're gonna boycott Target, but we on Amazon. Amazon and Target, they like brothers and sisters. So if you don't go to Amazon, if you don't go to Target, you're gonna go to Amazon. The money that you're still spending in Amazon is still going to their tables where they're going to be paying off politicians, paying off elected individuals, paying off this, putting out, paying these people to create laws to do what? To violate you. So either or, they still win at the end. The only way for you to make your presence known is to just stop. I'm not doing nothing. Yeah. Have a good sleep, man. I'm about to go to bed too. Listen, Steve Jobs said it out his own mouth. When they unveiled the iPad to the world, they interviewed Steve Jobs and they asked him, they was like, so with this iPad, are you gonna give it to your child? That nigga said, hell no. Like literally said, hell no. Just like the owners of McDonald's. They was like, do you eat McDonald's? Hell no. Just like the people that created Pepsi. Do you drink the soda? Hell no. That's not for them. It's for you. You are a test. You are a lab test. Why you think they put chemtrails all through the air? They run a test. They want to see how fast you can get sick. They want to see how immune you are. And when they see that a lot of people was immune, guess what they decided to do? They say, you know what? We need to speed up the process. Bill Gates was on TED Talk. That man was on TED Talk and said out his own mouth, that through the right, you know what? We can get people down by 15, 20%. That's a lot of people. September Timber, I'm sorry. And I have a brother that was an army vet, man, a lieutenant and all that. He wasn't a lieutenant. He was a staff sergeant. I think you become a lieutenant. I don't remember what he was telling me, but he was a sergeant at like 25. From what he's telling me, you got a certain amount of years to get where you need to be before they if you don't reach rank at a certain amount of time, you when your time is served, they let you go. If I'm not mistaken. September Timber, am I correct or am I saying something wrong? Look, 2014. 2014 he said that. When did the fufu take place? Yeah. 2014. When did the fufu take place? Come on. 2014 that took place. Obama said, excuse me, let me say his name correctly. Barry Santos said that his biggest fear is something being unleashed in New York. And what happened right after that? I'm just saying. And September Timbri. Thank you. Like if I tell you the information that I get for my brother, man, shout out to my bro, man. that be just telling me how the army. Like I ain't gonna lie, when he be explaining it to me, I'll be like, you know what, son, maybe I should have joined the army. You know what I'm saying? But it comes. You know what I'm saying? You go the first time you sign up, you get 10 weeks of training. You cut your hair bald, completely shaved off for 10 weeks. And when I asked them why do they do that, they said they gotta break you down to build you up. Am I lying? People saying that, people that's coming on my live saying that I'm an agent. Me? uh, my wiz told me, she said, if slavery was to happen right now, you would have been the slave that they would have made an example of. I said, I said, why is that? She said, because you too goddamn rebellious. You don't listen. You don't follow rules and regulations. And I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? And it's not I don't follow rules and regulations. I just don't stand with the fuckery, bro. Like things that's inhumane. Yeah. Like things that's inhumane. Like nah, I'm not doing that. I ain't trying to hear none of that. And it's crazy. My children is like that. So I'm producing seeds that carry that same mindset. And I can't get mad. You know why I can't get mad? Because these shits is what's needed. So America, excuse me, the United States is becoming soft. They have made us super soft. We're soft. We're weird. We are emotional. We don't stand up for what's right. We support anything as long as it allow us to be dope heads. We're not free thinkers no more. We are under their script. They tell us how to think. Children don't even have imaginations no more. Children don't even have creativity no more. Look at how today's children is dressing. Look how today's children is acting. Everybody dressed the same. Everybody acts the same. Everybody's on the same frequency. They got everything. These people control everything. The things that you watch, the food that you eat, the girls that you consider beautiful. Everybody wants the girl with the big old booty. Knowing that these girls with the big old booty, 90% of them was dealing with health issues. All that booty means that they got a whole lot of shit inside their bodies. Their bowel movements is shot. They're not pooping like they're supposed to. All of this shit that goes on, man. This is facts. These niggas know that. Let's go outside. Let's go outside and see how today's children is dressed. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, man. If you came to New York, if you came from out of town and you came to New York, you would have been able to identify and tell and differentiate a Brooklyn man from a Bronx man to a Harlem man to a Queens man. You'll be able to decipher the two. Now, you can't. Everybody dressed the same. Everybody talks the same. Everybody acts the same. All facts. All by design. Not gonna be like the person asked. He said, "Oh, he said enough with the problems. What's the solution?" I tell you the solutions. Until we ready to withdraw from this dopamine, we are gonna always be dependent. Anybody that's a substance abuser that needs some level of substance to function, you can never be a free thinker. You will always be under their control because you need their product to function. We need their internet. We need their Wi-Fi. We need their phones. We need their service. We need their electricity. None of us can go outside and make a fire, live in the woods, survive off the wood, survive off hunting, like, with a bow and arrow or a gun, you know what I'm saying, going hunting and finding. Nobody can do that no more. We can't do that shit. We can't. We run to the nearest supermarket, right? We don't even listen, we don't even know how to separate, you know, how to turn dirty water into clean water no more. Don't know how to do nothing. Nothing. The only thing we know how to do is say, gimme, 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 gimme. I deserve this, or should I say, I demand this. And if you don't give me this, you on my shit list. The only thing that they gave you that they allow you to do is react, have reactions amongst each other, have opinions amongst each other, go against each other. You ever notice that we're quick to snap on the brother and sister next to you, but the people that they put in front of you, you afraid. The people that they give titles to, you're afraid. You're afraid to stand up to a police officer. You're afraid to stand up to a government official. But you have no problem slapping your homie. You got no problem in violating your shorty. You got no problem in doing none of these things. All of this shit is about design. Exactly. It's all about design. Who on this chat is ready to go? Who's ready on this chat ready to go to withdraw? Let me know. You don't know how to do. Listen. What's the biggest fear that Americans say right here? Oh man, yo, if they was to turn off the grid, it's gonna be turmoil. It's like what? I was like, turn off the grid. That should be. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, son, that's gonna be a breath of fresh air for us, but not to the masses because we've been programmed. That's intentional. Listen, Barry Santos said it out his mouth. He said Americans are incapable of making um, drastic decisions for themselves. It is our job to make the decisions for them. This is what Barry Santos said out his own mouth. So if that's how they see and that's how they view us, then my it's like they already know that they already got things in place that's gonna keep us in complete dependency on them. We are complete dependency on them. They know that. So at the end of the day, guys, I say all that to say, until we ready to withdraw from until we ready to withdraw from this dopamine, until we ready to put down these devices, until we ready to, no longer live off the grid, until we ready to merge the gap between man and woman, bridge the gap, until we ready to stop looking at people based on the color of their skin and going based on moralities. Like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you a good European. You know what I'm saying? I may not forget what was done to my people behind you, but you can show your loyalty to me by standing for the cause. You feel me? Show the loyalty to all of that. But until we get out of that, bro, my nigga, man, none of this shit is gonna change. We're gonna continue crying, complaining, begging, kumbaya, marching, protesting, and then when the government shut down, we're gonna be crying. We're gonna come on social media crying and say, "Why me? Why us?" You know what I'm saying? So the mark is already here, Raymond. The mark is already here, my guy. The market, what you think your phone is? The mark is here. The mark that you guys are waiting for was the thing that they made you take in 2020, God. That's the mark. You're connected to the grid. Listen, you need eye recognition. If you have an iPhone, in order for you to unlock your phone, you need your eyes, right? For the Android, in order for you to unlock that, you need your thumb. It's already here. It's already here, my guy. You say not fully yet. You're believing in the concept of them putting the thing inside your fingers. Nah, bro, it's already here. It's already here. It's already here. They're already doing that. Listen, they already know. They already know that brothers and sisters is going to comply. It's already here. You're saying when you say not fully yet means that it's here. It's not into the way where oh, like, yeah, man, the R&D. Nah, it's already here. People already chipped up. People